All dogs love their food. Whenever you put a bowl down in front of a dog, you can guarantee that they are going to wolf that food down as quickly and as enthusiastically as possible. So if your dog all of a sudden goes off their food, it can be quite worrying and it can be difficult to know what to do. So in this video, we're going to show you how to help a dog that seems to have gone off their food. The first thing that I want you to do is relax. This is normal. Every single dog at some point will decide that they want to go off their food for some reason. Now, it is always worth considering health things and checking with a vet, but before we do that, there are some simple things that we can do to see if it's just that their tastes have changed. Because like humans, dogs have tastes. Sure, they can love a nice piece of lamb or a piece of steak one day, but then the next day they can go, actually, I don't really fancy that. Maybe I want something else. Just like we can. I love a good piece of steak, but if you were to serve me steak every single night, it'd take a while, but eventually I would probably get fed up with it and want something else. So it's perfectly conceivable that your dog could be doing the same thing too. Now, the first thing that we can do is actually quite simple. If you're feeding your dog kibble or raw fed, try a different brand. There are so many differences between the brands of kibble that the tastes and smells that they experience can be really varied too. So sometimes just switching to a different brand or a different flavour of kibble can be enough to kind of reignite their interest and get them back into eating again. Try to resist the temptation to add human food to the top of it to kind of tempt them into eating it. Sure, dogs will love it if they can have a little bit of what you've had for tea, but if you start getting them used to that, they're going to start expecting it, and human food is never a great thing for a dog to eat. There are so many things in our diet that are poisonous to them, it's just not worth the risk. Another common mistake that I see so many people make is that they put the food down and then leave it there for hours at a time. It's not uncommon for me to see people who have left their dog's food out all afternoon and then say, well, he doesn't eat it, and it's because they don't feel the need to. And a way that we can fix this is by getting them into a good mealtime routine. Now, dogs love routines. They do so well when they have a set of rules and expectations that they can follow because they like it when life is predictable. So if you don't have a good mealtime routine, your dog doesn't know that it should be feeling hungry right now and that it's time to eat. So we need to get one in place so that we can build some of that structure into their life that they will thank you for. Now, this routine can take some time to get into place, and it is going to be worth practicing different bits of it over and over again. So you might not have 100% success straight away, but if you can put the effort in and actually follow this, let's just say for a week at a start, you will start to see a change in your dog, I promise you. We'll go through afterwards how to achieve all of these steps and what training you need to do to make sure that you can get this right too. So, a good mealtime routine looks like this. When we're prepping their food, we don't allow any barking or jumping, nothing that's demanding, feed me now, because we're trying to create a calm atmosphere for them. Any energy levels that we can keep down by stopping them barking, stopping them jumping, stopping them thinking that they're in control of the situation will help to set that routine and bring it back under our control. So if they jump, if they bark while you're prepping their food, put the food down, put it on the side somewhere that they can't get it and walk away. Show them that those actions have consequences. Every time they do something that you don't like, reset the situation, take control back yourself. They will start to offer different behaviours soon once they notice that every time I do this, they walk away from the food. So I'm going to try something different instead, and as soon as they're calm and quiet, that's when we can get back on with the job. Once you've got their food ready, it's time to give it to them. Now, the way that we go about this with our dog Freddie is that we have a routine where we ask him to go and sit on his bed so that he sits calm and waits for us to put the food down in front of him. While we're getting him into his place and while the food is going on the floor, if at any time he tries to make a go for the food, then we stop him, pick the food back up and just let him know, no, again, that has a consequence, and the consequence is it takes longer to get your food. Once it's down on the floor, we then want some eye contact from them, enough that they can look away from the food and just look up to you to say, I'm ready, I'm waiting, I'm being calm, can I eat please? Once you've got that and you're happy, give them a release, a break command, and let them go on the food. Now, we like to vary the times up that we have Freddie giving us eye contact. Sometimes it can literally be as soon as he makes eye contact with me, off you go mate, get into it. Other times, it's good to make him just wait for a few seconds so that he's not predicting, he's waiting. And there is a huge difference between a dog that is just running through the motions of a routine and a dog that is reacting to you in the routine. So how do we go about doing all of this? Because I am fully aware that a lot of you will be saying now, if I put food down on the floor in front of my dog then ask them to sit, there is no way that they are going to stay calm and let me do that. So here are the things that we're going to need to teach our dog in order to get this routine good and solid. The hardest bit of this is going to be putting the food down on the floor and not letting them get straight in there to get eating it. If you don't already have a mealtime routine with your dog, and especially if your dog is older and you're trying to implement this later in their life, they might just start going for it straight away. But the way that we can start to train this routine into them is every time that they try and go for the food, just block them off, either with putting your hand in your way, getting your foot in your way, something to just create a physical barrier in between them and the food. Until they give you that sit and their butt touches the floor, they don't get access to that food. So just, I'm not saying grab them and pull them away, but just do anything you can to just block the food off. Let them know that what they're doing isn't acceptable and isn't going to get them what they want. If you can persist with that, eventually they will go, well, this isn't working, I need to try something else. And what a lot of dogs will do while they're thinking is sit down. If your dog is somebody that is trying to push through to the food and you can get them to just sit down and think about themselves, then move out of the way. Give them a break command and let them get at it, and they'll go, oh, when I sat, I got access to the food. And also, they said this break word or release word that let me go to it. So maybe that means that I can do what I want when I hear that word, and you'll start to build this up. Once they've got the idea that sitting is what you're after, then we can start to bring in some eye contact. Now, we do this with our dog by we've name trained him. So every time we say his name, it actually means look up to my face here. And it's very simple to train that. All you need to do is get a treat, get the dog's attention with the treat, and just bring it up to the level of your eyes and say their name. Or if you don't want to use their name, a watch me, look here, anything to just mark what you want them to do. Once they've started to get that idea, we can pair it with the sit once you've put their food down. So get them to sit and then give them the watch command or their name, whatever it is that you've used. So they go sit, okay, now I need to look up there, and then you can give them a break command again. This is how we start to build a really good sit, stay, break, which will have so many good implications in the rest of the dog's life as well. We've got several other videos on our channel where we demonstrate the different ways that a sit, stay, break can be really beneficial to a dog's life, so please make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future training videos. Once the food's down on the floor and you've let them go with a break command, if they don't then eat it and they walk away, leave it down for a few moments to give them chance, but set yourself a kind of limit of like 5 to 10 minutes. If they still haven't touched it, we pick the food back up and we put it away again. You don't get access to it all day. There are specific meal times. There's a good reason for doing this, and that's that if we know what time a dog eats, we know roughly when they're going to need to get rid of it out of the other end. If the food's down all day, you never know exactly what their stomach routine is going to need to be. By training them with this routine, you can really start to address a lot of the common issues that lead to dogs going off their food. If you can set that routine in place and find yourself a new brand of kibble, it's almost certain that your dog will start to eat again. Now, if you try these things for a couple of days and your dog hasn't eaten for 2 or 3 days in a row, that is definitely the time to go and seek some medical attention. And if you think that you need to do it earlier than that, please don't just go off what I've said. You know what's best for your dog. You know their behaviours. So go and speak to your vet. They will always be happy to try and help you out. So by creating a routine, sticking to it, and paying attention to our dog's tastes, we can hopefully overcome so many of the common problems that people have when their dog seems to go off their food. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, look after yourself and more importantly, look after your dog.